New heated footage between Finesse2Tymes and Moneybagg Yo has sent social media into a frenzy. It starts with Finesse2Tymes challenging Moneybagg Yo to fight over comments about his kids, then takes an even darker turn when he accuses Moneybagg of calling the police on him. Here's where this newest round of heat actually comes from. On a Thursday in mid-January, Finesse2Tymes was arrested in East Texas on multiple drug charges: possession of marijuana, a prohibited substance in a correctional facility, and possession of a controlled substance. That alone would have just been another headline, but what happened right after his release is what turned into the clip everybody's talking about. His girlfriend, Hi Buckingham, known as FNG Suga, had been arrested a day earlier on similar charges plus tampering with evidence, and remained held on a $526,000 bond even after Finesse got out. Hours after his release, he went straight to Instagram. "Bag put the police on me," he wrote in a story, naming Moneybagg Yo directly and accusing him of being behind the arrest. In a second post, he went further. "You know I know the truth. Cousin Big Homie G. Name been in the paperwork, got the damn man real time, and y'all swept under the rug. So quit speaking on rats and you would won." He wasn't just accusing Moneybagg of calling the cops anymore. He was implying there's paperwork tying people close to Moneybagg to actual cooperation with law enforcement and dropping the word rat, which, in rap circles, is about as serious an accusation as it gets. Alongside all of that, Finesse was also posting emotionally about his girlfriend's situation. Worried, vocal, grieving her being held behind bars. So you had two threads running through the same set of posts: real concern for her, and rage directed at a man he used to call a brother in the music game. The timing matters too. This wasn't a random flare-up. Finesse had been arrested multiple times over the past year in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, including a similar drug and evidence tampering charge the previous October, and another arrest alongside FNG Suga back in September. This is a pattern, and for the first time, he was publicly tying one of those arrests to Moneybagg Yo by name. Moneybagg's side, meanwhile, has stayed completely silent. No statement, no denial, nothing on his own page, which hasn't stopped the clips from spreading. Screen recordings, reposts, and compilation videos hit within hours, and multiple hip-hop blogs and radio sites had the story running within a day. What made this round different from a typical Instagram vent session is that there was already separate footage circulating from days earlier. A clip titled, "You Got to See Me," where Finesse, on camera, called Moneybagg out by name and challenged him to fight over comments about his kids. That's a different kind of footage than a typed story. That's a man looking into a camera and calling someone out over his children. By the time the "Bag put the police on me" posts hit feeds, you had two separate pieces of footage stacking on top of each other: a legal accusation and a physical challenge, landing within the same short stretch of days. None of this happened in a vacuum, though. Finesse2Tymes and Moneybagg Yo have history going back over a decade. Brothers, then enemies, then label mates, and now something that looks a lot like enemies again. Ricky Hampton, born June 10, 1992, is Finesse2Tymes out of Memphis. Moneybagg Yo, real name Dario White Jr., comes from that same scene, and back in 2012, when Hampton was 20, the two of them, along with Black Youngsta and others, formed the collective Memphis Greatest Underrated, releasing a self-titled EP in 2016. Before any diss tracks or Instagram wars, these were guys grinding together trying to put Memphis on the map as a unit. That unity didn't last. By 2017, the two were in a full public beef, complete with diss tracks and social media shots, the kind that used to define an era of rap Twitter. Then life intervened in a bigger way than any diss track could. Finesse ended up serving 5 years in Arkansas on a federal weapons charge. While he sat, Moneybagg built, dropping his debut album Reset in 2018, 43rd and Heartless in 2019, and the gold-certified time served in January 2020. When Finesse came home, he wasn't the same guy who left, and the rap landscape had shifted entirely. Moneybagg wasn't just a guy from the crew anymore. He was a certified hitmaker with his own label, Bread Gang, and this is where the story gets almost tragic in its repetition, because these two actually found their way back to each other once already. Finesse extended an olive branch, owned his mistakes from the 2017 beef, and signed to Moneybagg's Bread Gang label in September 2022. The same person he'd been dissing on wax became his boss. They dropped a joint track, Black Visa, as a public flag that the war was over, and on the Big Facts podcast, Finesse said plainly, "I was wrong. Time had to show me that I was wrong because I didn't understand." That's rare accountability in this industry, and it's part of why the reconciliation got treated as a genuine feel-good story rather than just a business move. But the piece didn't stay simple for long, because it wasn't just personal, it was business, and business comes with contracts and money. Signing to Bread Gang put Finesse inside a bigger machine, a joint venture between Atlantic Records, Bread Gang, and Jay Prince's Mob Ties to release his mixtape 90 Days. For a moment it worked. Backend became his first Billboard Hot 100 entry, peaking at 86 and going viral on TikTok. But his 2024 debut album, Art of War, failed to chart, the kind of outcome that puts real pressure on a relationship built on fresh reconciliation rather than years of trust. Cracks started showing in smaller ways before this year's explosion. During a 2024 livestream, Finesse admitted he missed Moneybagg's friendship and wanted to get back in the studio with him, promising, "No matter how frustrated I got with him, no matter how frustrated he got with me, I'd never do that again." That quote reads almost like foreshadowing now. Then came a separate front that pulled Moneybagg in as a co-conspirator rather than the main target. Finesse accused fellow Memphis rapper Big Boogie of trying to sabotage a potential deal with Yo Gotti, and dragged Moneybagg into it too, writing, "Y'all gon' have to team up, can't either one of y'all y'all know," framing himself as the one who'd built both of their careers and their alleged teamwork as a betrayal. Boogie clapped back on Facebook, "Really? I'm ya boss who signed who? Moneybagg yo, come on, CMG4L," flipping the script entirely. Finesse fired back that they were scared of what he'd do with real label backing, adding, "I'm actually better when I'm outnumbered," and even put a number on his confidence, daring anyone to bet money on it. This wasn't just old grudge beef anymore. It was tangled up in actual deals and real money with Yo Gotti's name attached, which is exactly why the rat and paperwork comments from January hit differently. This is a man who already believed, months earlier, that people closest to him in the industry were working against him. That suspicion spilled further too. Finesse also went after Chicago rapper G Herbo over a laughing emoji, and pulled G Herbo's ex, Ari Fletcher, into it as well, pointedly comparing her to his own girlfriend. Fletcher, notably, is Moneybagg's current girlfriend, which wasn't lost on anyone watching all of this unfold in the same week. Fletcher publicly distanced herself from the exchange after FNG Suga read one of her tweets as a shot, writing plainly that she didn't want anything she said attached to people she wasn't involved with. It's messy, and it shows this wasn't a controlled, strategic beef. It was raw and spilling in every direction, hitting friends, exes, and partners along the way. So where does this actually leave things? As of the most recent reporting, Moneybagg Yo still hasn't responded. No statement, no denial. Nothing addressing the rat language directly. That silence is its own kind of statement, and it's left fans filling in the blanks themselves, which is exactly the kind of vacuum that keeps footage circulating for weeks instead of days. Meanwhile, the real-world stakes haven't gone anywhere. FNG Suga's bond situation remains serious, and every update on her case pulls Finesse back into headlines, keeping the Moneybagg accusations fresh. There's also the unresolved Big Boogie and Yo Gotti thread sitting in the background, which, if it ever materializes into an actual deal, would turn this from an emotional flare-up into a full business divorce. It's worth remembering these two have flipped the script on each other before, from open hostility to genuine partnership and back again. Last time, it took 5 years in federal custody to reset the temperature. Nobody knows what it'll take this time, but given the pattern, continued public shots followed eventually by another attempt at peace once the legal dust settles isn't out of the question. What's clear is this isn't a beef built on nothing. It's 15 years of shared history, a federal prison sentence, a label reconciliation, a hit song, a failed album, and now a public accusation involving police and paperwork that neither man has fully put to rest. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you think Moneybagg actually had something to do with this, or is Finesse lashing out after a rough stretch? Let us know, and stay tuned as this one keeps developing.